why are you writing this book? Because the images, the standards, the things that we are taught as little girls are so pervasive in this country that I personally feel that it affects almost everything we do.
Is it better to be wiser or kinder in this life? I would boldly make the argument that it is definitely possible and indeed ideal to be both. However, if we are going to simply continue with one of the major themes of this book and how we were raised as little girls, then it seems being more kind is the more expected and definitely more promoted trait.
The themes of having to be the fairest maiden in the land. We stress to these women that being pretty is the most important thing of all, that the villains are almost always a vicious, malicious, murderous woman trying to thwart and stop women, young girls, because of one reason. Not their bravery, not their brawn, nothing like that. Those things are not important because the ultimate thing that we teach our little girls is beauty.
Indeed, every one of those little ladies simply became kinder and kinder to those sweet, innocent animals, dwarves, fish, teacups, mice, candlesticks, and any and everything that crossed their very difficult paths. My book is a real life story and not a fairy tale. That the more my reality failed me, the more I subconsciously kept working harder, doing more, and in fact being kinder, hoping that things would ultimately work out, because that's what I was told. Both religiously and secularly, that's what I was told would happen. And in fact, I just kept letting men in particular abuse me because I thought eventually if I'm nice enough, pretty enough, and good enough, they're going to fall in love with me and all will be well. She knew how abusive those other women in her house were. She just kept believing and being kind, though, despite all of the broken promises and actual physical abuse. Her pathetic ignorance was continually disguised as eternal optimism. She was not alone.
Well, you see, that's where this is reality. And in no way did I always turn it into a success. I, in fact, like my father before me, failed miserably and fell directly on my face. And I found out that my performances and my resume were indeed not all there is to this life.
I didn't want to become a bitter, suspicious woman yet. I still had faith. I still had trust. I was desperately trying to hold on to the belief that people were actually telling the truth when they made promises, and that they would fulfill those promises with honor. Or at least that person would have the decency to stop things when their feelings had changed, and not actually keep abusing that faithful person simply because they could. I learned a lot. I learned as a nurse especially where we are failing people. And one of the ways that we're failing is that we are not treating the brain like every other organ, and we are not addressing mental health. You see, I still was that little girl who believed in what she was repeatedly told, that the golden rule ultimately prevailed, that biblically when you sow good seeds, you are eventually going to reap good things, and that God always rewards those that are good and faithful servants.
In Paladin, you look out for collective wellness instead of personal correctness and personal rightness. This country has become about everybody clamoring to the top of that hill and looking for their own happy ending. If we're going to change these little girls into confident, bold women who are equal partners with whoever they decide to love, whoever they decide to bring on this journey with them, that you are strong when you are 100% means 100%. Your story is not written. It's not over yet. There is always hope. And if there's one thing I can learn from both my father and I's lives, is that no one should ever steal your hope. And so every day you have a chance to write a new chapter and to become the person that you really want to be. And I wish you the very best, and I hope that this book helps you become that person. Thanks. My name is Jenna F. Hill, and I really appreciate your contribution. Thank you.